Kelli Pylant, commercial banker, and no, sorry, let's try that again. Kelli Pylant, VIP or VP, VIP.
All of the above.
Oh my gosh. All right, I'm not even gonna think about it. We're just gonna go.
Okay.
All right.
Healthcare Resource Center. Free help for people on Medicare.
Kelli Pylant, VP and commercial banker at Troy Bank and Trust.
Yes, sir.
How's it going?
It's great.
Thanks for coming on the podcast.
Well, thank you for inviting me.
Yeah, no, of course. You and I met each other through Dragons.
Yes.
Last year. Well, no, not last year. Like 3 years ago.
Yeah. A
And
little while ago. Time flies.
yeah. You know, one thing that always impressed me about you is that like you are like almost everybody's mom. You know what I mean? Like you just come in and you're like, I'm just gonna love on everybody. And you want a mom hug? Go to Kelli.
That's right.
You know, it's
As bad as I hate to sound old whenever you say that, though, Mom, I wear that badge with pride.
Oh yeah, absolutely. I mean, you're just like the embodiment of
Yeah.
it. I can imagine. You remind me of like some friends from high school that were just like so loving and nurturing, and you know, don't ever lose that.
Well, thank you. I appreciate that.
Your daughters are probably listening to this like, that guy's fooled.
Listen, absolutely. And the funniest thing is I'm the emotional one where where my feelings on my sleeve, my heart on my sleeve, and love to hug and all that.
Mm-hmm.
To get my girls to hug me back is like trying to hug a brick wall. I mean, they're just so
That's funny.
So I just hug them sometimes to aggravate them.
All right, and oh my gosh. Now you also have, I know you have triplets.
My triplet grandbabies.
Grandbabies,
Yes.
okay, and
Yes.
that's all you have so far.
So far, they
Okay.
were my first, and they may be my last.
And
They
so-
may be the only ones I get.
Are they cuddlers for you at least?
Absolutely. Listen, they're 14, almost 15 months old, and
Yeah.
just I'm in heaven when every time I'm around them. And yes, they do. When one crawls on you, all the other two want to come, and so you got them all three there, and there's just not much I love more.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, I've always heard too, and I've asked my parents as well, and they've answered in a way I didn't want them to answer, but I said, do you guys love your grandkids more
That's
than your
right.
kids? And my mom was like, yes.
Yeah, absolutely. Listen, I don't hide it from my daughter and son-in-law one bit.
Yeah.
One bit. You know, it's like we walk in the house, we're straight to the babies, and then 5 minutes later, oh hey.
Yeah.
Good to see y'all.
So I mean, give me an understanding. Like, why is that? Why do you think that is?
You know, and it's funny because people have asked me, talking about why I've gotten so involved with the Dragons and enjoy doing things for that team and those people and those young men. And I think that a lot of it kind of comes together with that. You know, we all get older. Unfortunately, I'm
Right.
there too. My kids are older. They don't need mom as
Right.
much. And so now you get to relive being that mother with babies or someone that needs you in the case of the Dragons. You know, somebody actually, needs me to help them with something.
Right.
And, but with the babies, it's like, you just get to bring them in, you get to spoil them, you get to love on them, you get to send them home. You know, you don't have to do the discipline. You're
Right.
the one that doesn't have to do any of that.
Yeah.
But it's like you're getting to, in a way, relive that motherhood when you were so young and so inexperienced and didn't know what to do. And now you got these three new little human beings that just look at you with, amazement, and you love them and that admiration. And you appreciate, I guess, that age and being able to foster that love between them. And whereas when you're mom and you're all of that, you're just trying to survive and you're just trying to raise them,
Yeah.
And so, but it's loving. It's like a love. I told my daughter one time, I said, I love you, and as much as I love you, it's a different level. And I think it's because you love your children so much, and now you've got this little thing that's a part of them and a part of you, and so it's like it just keeps going. That's really the only way I know to describe it.
I don't think I've ever had it described so raw and like that. It's very understandable.
Yeah, it
the
is.
way you just explained it.
Yeah.
I can definitely relate to it.
Good.
You know, 'cause well, I mean, you know,
it's hard to put into words.
yeah,
It's really hard to
absolutely,
put into words.
but it definitely is understandable.
Yeah.
Like you get all of the benefits.
All of the benefits.
You selfishly you get to love and
Yes.
squeeze on someone
Yes.
else, and then oh no, you get to be the disciplinarian.
That's right. You get to be the bad
You
guy.
know, you have to correct my spoiling and
That's
you
right.
know and doing.
That's
And
right.
I could totally see you, and these kids are older, that it's like you're getting in trouble by your daughter because you're doing something that you shouldn't have done with her
Absolutely.
kids, and
Absolutely.
it's like ugh,
Yeah. Yeah.
we're busted.
And that's right. We're at my house. We're Nana and Poppy, and
Yeah.
Nana and Poppy will gladly take that discipline from Mom and Dad. So
That's funny. So let me ask you something. I know on the with Troy Bank and Trust, you're heavily involved in the community.
Yeah.
I would see you a lot of places out in the community. You know, what do you do? Like, explain to me the commercial lending side.
Mhm.
Like, what does that mean exactly?
basically, it is. It's still a loan officer now. I'm titled as a commercial lender, but
Okay.
I also do consumer loans. We have 2 offices here in Dothan, and there are there's our city president who does lending, as well as 2 other commercial lenders over at the main office close to
Okay.
Flowers Hospital. I'm at the one on the corner of Park and Main, right across from First Methodist. So I'm the only lender there. So it would kind of be, you know, a disservice to our customers if I only said I can only do you a commercial loan. So I do both.
Okay.
But my background, you know, up until Troy Bank and Trust, I was much more on the consumer lending side,
Okay.
doing some business loans. Now I'm commercial side, doing some consumer loans.
Gotcha.
But we do. I mean, a commercial lender is really someone that looks more for the business opportunities. You know, the business banking, look for the people that own businesses, the small businesses, the larger businesses, just anything around that. Someone's growing their business, they need a line of credit to, you know, to have that working capital. They need to buy a piece of equipment. They need to, you know, do all of those kind of things. With the regulations the way that they are, I've really grown to appreciate commercial lending, and anybody that might be listening that even does any finance or banking or anything like that as their career, they understand regulations have gotten really, I mean, out of control sometimes it seems like, and I know we have to have them, and I'm grateful that we do, because it does keep everybody in line, you know, those who are on the up and up and those who aren't. We have to stay very, very regulated to determine that we're doing things the right way. Consumer lending, the government heavily regulates consumer lending. So for just about every single bank or lending institution, a lot of things have to fit in a box and can't be deviated from very much, if at all. And that is so that the consumer can look and go, okay, everybody's being fair. It's that fair lending.
Okay.
Are we being fair to, you know, John Doe down the street as well as Jane Smith over here on the other side of town? Are we being fair to both of them in the same way? So very heavily regulated. Now commercial lending is becoming more regulated, but we do have a little bit more flexibility. And when I say flexibility, not flexibility to discriminate against anybody. You know,
Right.
I take that very personally. But just as far as being able to, okay, I really want to try to get this business because I know if I get this particular account that there's more going to come with it, and I'm going to be able to grow that relationship. So I can offer this person maybe a little bit better rate, a little bit better terms. And we kind of have a little more flexibility on that with Troy Bank and Trust, and most banks are that way. Some have become a little more streamlined, and they want some of theirs to fit more in a box as well.
Right.
I'm grateful to work for Troy Bank and Trust. They have, it's just been, it was a wonderful move, and I've worked for some wonderful banks, don't get me wrong. I have enjoyed every one that I have worked for, but they are they're very focused on letting their lenders and their personnel kind of do what's do what's best for the customer. And so I truly enjoy that. That's more like community banking that I love.
So what's the advantage of going to Troy Bank and Trust versus going to somebody else?
I'll tell you, the advantage that I see
Uh-huh.
is that it's like I try to sell myself. You're going to get me. I'm going to do what I can to make sure that you're taken care of. We're very big on customer service. I've always been very big on customer service and just providing that level that we've got in Dothan, we've got a bank about on every corner, church, and so there's a lot of us.
Right.
So there's a lot to compete for that business. So while we all offer a lot of the same stuff, you got to have something that differentiates you between everybody else.
Right.
And being a smaller Alabama-based bank, we are more that community service or that community bank. So we get that customer service and we're able to kind of tailor the way we help people kind of to them a little bit more. And so that's more of the community banking part of it.
One of the things that someone brought up to me after we first moved here was they said, Dothan is a very wealthy town.
Mm-hmm.
And I was like, I don't
see it.
not that I don't see it. I didn't know how to identify it.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, true.
Because in SoCal it's BMWs and Mercedes and higher end, like these big brands, these labels.
Right.
And someone said, no. If a guy's wearing a button up and there's no pocket, that's a very expensive shirt. You have to look at the trim level of their F-150.
Yeah, not
That'll
just
tell
F-150, that's right.
Because everybody drives an F-150, but
That's
if it's a
right.
King Ranch or a Platinum, that's your luxury
Yeah.
F-150, and
Yeah.
other things too. But they said the biggest thing was how many banks are in this city that only has 66,000 people in its population, and I was like, oh, that makes so much more sense now.
Yeah.
And so it's very competitive.
Yeah,
right.
absolutely.
I mean, as like you have so many different financial institutions, you have so many different employees within those same financial institutions. So like as an individual, you're competing and you're trying to earn that business over everybody else, right? Like, I'm sure you probably have that team atmosphere at Troy Bank and Trust.
Sure.
But at the same time, Kelli has to produce
Absolutely.
in order to justify her existence.
Absolutely.
That's kind of how it is in every other sales position
That's right.
or revenue generating position. And so when you say customer service, you're not just talking about like, oh, I'm just going to answer the phone and respond to an email quickly. Can you elaborate a little bit more on that?
Yeah, sure, absolutely. Whenever I say that, it is more of building that trust with an individual, helping them. I've talked to people, customers before that their son or daughter wanted to make a purchase but they lived somewhere else. They weren't going to go through me, but they wanted my advice.
Okay.
And then
Thanks.
Exactly. And so they would come to me for things like that, or if they just wanted to sit down and get something off their chest. If they just wanted to talk about something. But it is the calling back. It's the calling and for no reason and just saying, hey, just how's business this week?
Yeah.
It is
That's the commercial side.
Absolutely,
Okay.
Absolutely. It is the just caring. A family member has passed away, sending a card, making a phone call, and I know all that sounds simple, but in the age of emails and text and all that kind of stuff, it's amazing what a card will do. Something that's actually mailed. And so we try to make sure that we do things like that, sending out Christmas cards, sending out, thank yous. Troy Bank is really good about doing customer type events. We take customers to a Troy football game, obviously being based out of Troy, and we're called Troy Bank and Trust. We are big supporters of Troy University, and so we'll take customers to games. We'll take them to baseball games. We'll have events where they meet the coaches, things like that. And just reaching out and inviting them to some of the community things, the chamber things. We'll buy a table and invite our customers. Just things like that, as well as just taking care of their banking needs, and on a consumer side, helping them balance their checkbook if that's what they need.
Right.
I've done that many times in my career.
Really?
Oh, absolutely, absolutely. And just being there, being that friend. And again, I know it sounds so cliche, but it's so true, that just become somebody they can trust, and they'll refer you people. They'll come to you with
Right.
all of their needs,
Yeah.
and that's what I've always tried to do.
Of course, we're not going to talk about interest rates. Of course, we're not going to talk about what was the biggest loan you've ever had.
Yeah.
But like, I'm just curious, like, what are some of the more common reasons why a business would come and get a loan from you?
I do a lot of working capital lines of credit, and that is just, when I say that, it's a cash flow thing. You've got a business, and especially one that is purchasing inventory or purchasing supplies, constantly. They don't always get those paid invoices. They don't finish that job before they have to purchase some more supplies.
Gotcha.
So they'll come to me, and we'll do lines of credit on inventory and assets, or some of them will even use their own home to put that line of credit against.
Yeah.
And just, whatever they want to use as collateral, or whatever we can do. Some of them, smaller lines, we don't use collateral. But it
What
just
would you
gives them
say
a
is
line
a
of
smaller
credit.
line?
20,000, 25,000,
Okay.
something like that. I would consider that more of a smaller line, and depending on the revenue of the business or whatever, then they can get it and not have to use any type of collateral. But they draw off of that, they buy their stuff, they get that invoice in, they pay it off. It's just constant up and down. It works a lot like a credit card, I guess you could say. But it's just a line of credit for their business that they constantly use to kind of bridge that gap of getting
Yeah.
paid from someone versus going on to that next job, or buying inventory or supplies.
Interesting.
So do a lot of those.
What are some things that a business owner can do to like put themselves in a good position to be able to go to you and get approved?
Yeah,
For
One of the things that I recommend highly, and a lot of business owners don't think that either they can afford it, don't think it's necessary, but to have someone who does your taxes and your books is crucial in a lot of ways, because there's so many things. If we are, say, right now we're in August of 26, most businesses have not even completed the filing, because that's not due till October. Most of them have not filed the 25 tax returns.
Mm-hmm.
So from a lender standpoint, we have to look at that and go, okay, you've got some financials from 24, you've got your tax returns 24, we don't really have anything from 25 yet, and we don't have anything from 26. There's a lot can happen in a year and a half in the life of a business. So having someone, or using a QuickBooks or some kind of program that can have all of that information flow into those income statements and balance sheets, the profit and loss, lots of different terms that we as bankers use, that is vital. That is vital, because that is a picture of your business and where you are. I mean, you can pull it through the end of last month. And that helps us, because you may have, tax return wise, again, year and a half, your business may be booming in this year and a half. 24 may not have looked that good, but you've been doing great 24 out of 26. Well, to really be able to benefit and help you with your needs now, not what you needed in 24, but now, we've got to have that picture. We've got to be able to see. So someone being able to do up those interim financials for you, or the program that, that can get the information in there and spit that out. There's a lot of programs businesses use that you can say, okay, based on all the information I've put in here, spit me out a P&L, a profit and loss.
Right.
And so investing in either that or having someone, if you truly are just not sure about the financial side of it and how to make all of those numbers work, get an accountant. That is very, very important. That's one of the most important things I think a business can do for themselves, because it can turn bad quickly, and it really shouldn't be, but because maybe something wasn't filed right, things have gone the wrong way. So that's one of my biggest pieces of advice. And then you just got to be honest. Sometimes people say, well, I'm ashamed to have to ask for money. Don't be ashamed to ask for money. We all do it. We all need it. We all have to, especially when you're in a growing business, you got to be able to grow. Well, without a cash flow, without, purchasing equipment that you need, you can't grow. So don't be ashamed to ask for it, and sit down and just lay it all out with us, because we're not there to judge. We're just there to help. And we're going to, we don't want to turn away a loan. Our job is to make loans.
Mm-hmm.
So we want to find a way to make that loan for you and to help you with what you need.
What's the difference between, and just let me ask the question before harsh judgment comes. But like, what's the difference between consumer loans and the individual loan, like in regards to, like, if I wanted to get a credit card, or if I wanted to get a loan for a home, they're going to run my credit, they're going to take a look at my FICO, they're going to take a look at my bank statements, see what my debt to income ratio is. Like, I used to do home loans in California back before the boom, or for the bust. But do you guys go through all of that on the commercial side as you would if it were just John Smith?
Pretty much.
Okay.
Yeah, because
So there is a FICO score for a business, or what is that?
Well, no, not for the business, there's not, but we do run those credit reports on the individuals.
Okay.
So if you're doing a business loan, say I'm doing a loan to ABC Company. ABC Company has people who either own it, they're going to guarantor, whatever the case may be. And so we do run those credit reports on those individuals, because you may have a situation where the business itself looks really, really strong, but the individuals running that business behind it maybe have some terrible pay history or something like that.
Gotcha.
You really have to look at that, because again, at the end of the day, that business is just a name. I mean, it's just an entity. The people behind it are the ones that are running it. So if they're running it and they didn't do that very well on their personal side, how's it going to work for the business? So we do that, and that kind of helps us between the financials of the business itself, the stability of the business. We look at, there's a lot of times I'll ask for resumes from individuals, and just tell me, you've just recently started this business. Tell me what your background says that you're qualified for this business, and it just helps me strengthen the loan. So we do heavily look at the individuals to do a commercial loan. So it's not, the business itself does not have an actual credit score, but the financials and all that kind of stuff tied with the person themselves is kind of how we make our decisions.
So for those people who are listening and that are thinking about starting their own business, good piece of advice, get an accountant.
Absolutely.
As quick as you can.
Absolutely.
And maintain your own financial health.
Yes.
Like, make sure you're paying your stuff on time, don't get any 30-day lates, make sure that you as an individual, because you're going to be back in the business.
Right.
And I mean, it's on you ultimately.
Right. And whenever, a brand new business, when there's really nothing to go on, if you're truly trying to start something up, whether it's selling stuff on eBay or a brick and mortar building, when you're trying to do that and you go to a bank and say, okay, I want a line of credit for this ABC business, there's nothing we have to go on except you. So, and people, unfortunately, life happens. I mean, it happens every day to people. People get in situations where credit goes down. It just happens. But the best thing I can say about that is be honest. Be honest. Talk to your lenders. If you're in a consumer situation, you've got consumer loans, and something has happened that you absolutely cannot make a payment. Call the bank first. Don't wait on them to call you. That's what a lot of people, it's like, I'm going to hide and hopefully they won't notice I'm past due.
Right.
We're going to notice. We know.
Right.
So just be honest and have that conversation, because a lot of times there's something that lender can do to help you. They can extend a payment. There's all kinds of things they can help you. You may go past due this month, but all right, if we pay this amount every week for 2 months, you'll be caught right back up.
Okay.
So they can help you come up with a plan. So just be honest. Be honest.
So it sounds like you're really a big advocate for business owners.
Oh yes.
This isn't like, oh, let's just try to trap you into this debt and now we own you.
No.
This is, hey, we're gonna help you.
Right.
Because eventually, I guess the way I look at it too, and correct me if I'm wrong, it's like one of those ideologies where it's like, hey, if we can help this business owner be successful, they're going to come back and borrow more money.
Oh, all the time.
And then,
because they're going to need another piece of equipment.
Right.
They're going to need to purchase a new building. There's going to be needs.
They might even expand.
Absolutely. They may expand. And if nothing else, they're going to tell their friends. I've been doing this for a lot longer than I'm willing to admit, because it really give away my age. But I've been doing this for a long time. Been in banking. That's been my career. And if you do not treat people right and treat people with respect, you're going to know about it, because they're going to tell everybody else. They're going to tell their friends. They're not going to come back to you, and before you know it, you've ruined your reputation, and that's a hard thing to build, and it's really almost impossible to rebuild. So just treat people with respect and treat them right, and I believe that they'll follow you. I've had wonderful customers who followed me to every bank that I've changed and gone to.
Okay.
And they tell people about me, and that's all that I can ask for. If you're willing to promote me, then I'm going to do everything I can to make sure you succeed and that you're taken care of. And I believe that relationship goes both ways.
So let's say someone is on the fence, right? They're working 9 to 5. They're not happy with what they're doing, or they're just in a position of like, hey, I need to figure out how to make more money. Not necessarily out of greed, but just more like, hey, my family deserves more.
Sure.
Because I've been in that situation before, right?
Yeah.
It's like, hey, how do we figure this out? I want my wife to stay at home, or whatever the case is. I want to be able to take my kids on trips and have family vacations and whatever, right? What would your advice be to someone who is considering starting a business?
Well, I think that honestly, if you're in that position and you're really thinking about it and you really don't know where to start everything, we can be good counselors too. Get somebody you trust and a banker that you trust, and go in and have that conversation with them and just say, look, this is what I'm thinking about. I don't begin to know where to start. Tell me what I should do. Tell me how I would go about even getting started with this. What do I need to get started? And I mean, there's all kinds of advice, because again, when you have been in it as long as I have, you've seen a lot of people, and a lot of successful people, fortunately. And we remember the things that they do. So passing that on to other customers is something I gladly do. And helping someone come up with a plan. I mean, I can do that. I don't pretend to know everything, but I can tell you what I've learned and what I do know.
So let me ask you this, just to kind of dive a little deeper into what you said. You have a lot of experience talking to a lot of business owners. I have a lot of experience talking to a lot of business owners.
Mhm.
Those conversations are so wild
Oh,
to
absolutely.
me. Whereas like, you know, I've had conversations where we've talked about like profit margins, and it's like, you mean to tell me that your markup is X amount?
Yeah.
And it's just, okay, and then you learn about something like, oh, okay, well, the profit margin in this item is low, but we do high volumes, so that, you know, keeps the lights on, or whatever the case is. And then, you know, this one thing has a huge markup, and so there's a lot of profit there. But what are some, that's just in my experience, what are some of your like best practices that you have, that you've learned from other business owners? So like, if you're going to start a business,
Yeah.
be like this person, which is accumulation of all of these other individuals and best practices.
Yeah. Probably, gosh, let me think about that.
Sure.
I would say that one of the best things that I could recommend is don't quit your day job yet.
Okay.
And I say
Okay.
all of that to say it takes a lot of time to build your business and to get your name out there and to show people that you have another a product or a service or something that they could benefit from. During that time, you still got to eat. You still got to pay your bills. So, and I've seen people who just, it's like, okay, I'm done, turn in my notice, and I'm fixing to go start this business. They don't have a name. They barely have an idea or a product. That can create more stress and more failure than anything.
Yeah.
So it's going to be, you may work a little longer hours, you may work a little harder for a year or two or whatever, but keep that stability that you have, if possible. Some people are let go and they don't have another choice.
Right.
But if you have the ability to keep a steady income, may not be anything that you like, but just look down, there's light at the end of the tunnel. If I can get this off the ground, then, you know, then I can quit this other job. Just don't jump off and hang yourself. It is one of the best things that I could recommend. Get with people that you trust, get that advice, you know, talk to the accountants. They may not have anything to start accounting on yet, but talk to somebody and say, okay, you know, what if I buy this, you know, is that going to be a write-off? Just get all the information you can. The other thing is don't get selfish, I guess, in a way. If you have someone that you believe you could partner with and that could come into a business venture with you, add that stability. You know, there's so many times that I hear somebody, you got the money man and you've got the idea man.
Right.
And so look for possible investors to help you get that started. There's a lot of people out there, believe it or not, who truly are just looking for, you know, they may have a little bit of extra, but maybe they're looking for a way to grow their family and to get that wife to be able to stay at home and things like that. So they may need some extra income. They may have the resources to be able to get that. So don't think that it's something you got to do by yourself. Partners are a great way to get businesses off the ground, and look for someone who may have either a little more stability or a little stability to add, or maybe even a little more knowledge to go along with it.
So you mentioned don't quit your day job.
Yeah.
You mentioned utilize some resources and possibly find some partners.
Yes.
When it comes to don't quit your day job, like at what point, and this isn't the end all be all, but like in your advice, what are some things, some signs that would be good indicators, okay, now it's time for you to quit and go full 100% into your business?
Yeah. If you see that you've gotten your name out there, you've been able to find your niche to, you know, to deliver your product or service, If you feel comfortable that even though you're not making the money that you could be making or that you would like to be making yet to fully quit that other job, but you know if you quit and you devote all of your time to it, or if you just get to a point where, okay, I'm not making as much as I want to be, but I'm making enough, and now it's becoming too stressful to carry on these two jobs.
Gotcha.
Because you don't want to bury yourself. You don't want to ruin your family. You don't want to, make those kind of mistakes just to try to boost your income. But if you can feel either that you can move forward and you can make more money, obviously, if you let the other one go, or if you are just coming to a point where you think it's not worth it now to have both, but I just want to follow this dream. And I think for a lot of business owners, honestly, I think you just know that, okay, I can do this. I've shown myself I can do this to this point.
Right.
And it's time. It's time. I think a lot of follow your heart, follow your gut, but just you gotta be patient. That's the worst thing about it. You gotta be patient.
Yeah.
People don't become millionaires overnight.
Right.
Unless you win the lottery.
Yeah.
So you've gotta be patient. It takes time to grow everything.
Don't quit your day job. Find some partners if you can, or if you need it. What else?
The patience, I think, is the biggest one.
Okay.
The next biggest one. Just be, don't be greedy.
Mm-hmm.
Don't be, impatient with what's going on. And just you have to surround yourself with people you can trust. There's no business, I guarantee you, every successful business owner has had somebody that they can look back and go, okay, that person I trusted. And you got to find those people. They're not always just right there in front of you.
Oh, yeah.
You have to look for them sometimes. And that goes back to the being patient. Don't just immediately get a partner just because you think you got to have one to start this business. Find somebody that you can trust and that you believe is going to be a reputable partner. And because a good partner, it can be just as effective as a bad partner, and a bad partner can be just as effective as a good partner. Either one can either make you or break you. So just be careful who you are trusting, but find those people, because there's people you can trust.
Yeah.
In every day.
Gosh, that's great advice. I think one of the things as well, especially depending on like the type of business that you're in,
Mm-hmm.
being involved in the community.
Oh yeah.
The business community is very small,
Yes.
but it's one of those things, like it's a big industry, but it's a very small community,
Mm-hmm.
right? Because there's so little business owners out there. There's a lot of employees,
Yeah.
but I think it's, if you get involved into the community
Yes. Very important.
some way,
Very
something, whether it's some type of organization that you're a habitual volunteer for,
Mhm.
or you are involved in some type of organization, whatever the case is, serving in your church.
Mhm.
Like, you're not serving in your church in order to get leads.
Mhm.
That's not what I'm saying.
Right.
But it's just, you have to do something outside of yourself.
Absolutely.
in
You
order.
have to be able to meet other people that you may not come in contact with just sitting behind a desk.
Right.
And from my standpoint, and I would think the majority of business owners, they want to know that they're doing business with somebody who's at least tries to be a good person.
Right.
And when you see people volunteering, and you see them out in the community, and you see them doing things, and you see them at, charity events and things like that, I'm not saying they're all good people, but your mind kind of immediately goes to, okay, that might be a good person.
Right.
And we all want to associate ourselves with good people, or those who are at least trying to be good people.
Yeah.
So,
And this kind of shifts gears for us a little bit. You are so involved with the Dothan United Soccer Club.
I think my family would agree.
Yeah.
Yes.
I mean, it's just one of those, like,
Yeah.
I'm up in the box, I'm watching, and you're always there.
Yeah.
You're never not there.
Yeah.
And I would get there early to do the read-throughs and get prepared, and I'm like, I'm pulling in, and you're already there.
Yeah.
I'm like, what is this woman doing? Why did you get so involved with the Dragons?
Well, it's really, I laugh about it because people ask me all the time, why do you love this so much? And I still do not know that I can completely explain it. It's still one of those things but the good news is, I've made such wonderful close friends, people I've known for years that I didn't really, wasn't really close with. We've become closer, and we're all the same way. We're like, we still don't know why we love this so much. But for me, back in 23, I was working with another bank here in town. I was with Friend Bank, and a very dear friend of mine that all these years we went to high school together, just had that brother-sister relationship, and continued on. Well, he got involved with this. He really, it was Stephen Durham. He was really the one that was instrumental in, getting Steve Donner and his wife to come to town and get this organization off the ground. And Stephen, we were always very bluntly honest with each other. And so Stephen, I'll never forget, he came into my office one day at Friend Bank, and he said, okay, we're going to start a soccer team here in Dothan. And I'll never forget, I looked him in the eye and I said, Stephen, you have lost your mind. He said, you're crazy. Stephen was always, in our group of friends, we had this tight-knit group, he was always the dreamer. Always the dreamers. He went out to Hollywood, he made some movies, did good, but Stephen always loved Dothan, and so he wanted to come back here. That's what brought him back here. And then he wanted to find ways to make Dothan better. And so, he left my office, and I'm thinking, this is never going to happen. He's never going to be able to start a soccer team in Dothan, Alabama.
How much time lapsed between that meeting and...
Oh, believe it or not, it was actually very quick, because if you remember, the first season was kind of just
last minute
thrown together almost in so many ways. And so, we were probably... At that point, we're probably mid 2023, so June, July, August, somewhere right in there, because they did the announcement. He was talking to me about all of this, and he would call me and talk to me, and again, I'm just blowing it off. And so then they came about, and they were going to introduce the team, and all that was happening around the end of 23, first of 24.
Yeah. And
they were doing the announcement of the team, and he was coming on, sorry, you got to go to this. I'm thinking, Stephen, I have zero interest in soccer. I know nothing about it. And then when I tell you, I had literally never watched a game. I had two girls that never played soccer. At the time, didn't have nieces and nephews that did not go watch it anywhere. And so I'm like, please don't make me go to this. And he was like, no, you gotta go. He was just insistent. So I went. As his banker and as a loyal friend, I went reluctantly. Started to get to know the people, Steve Donner, and of course I already knew Mike Schmitz and all of them. Started to get to know them and started making friendships. And then the announcement of the coaches came along, and Carl and all of that, and the assistants, and he was like, you gotta come. It's my mother's birthday, and I'm thinking, Stephen, I've got to go out to eat with my mother. Okay, fine, I'll drop by afterwards. So I did, again, reluctantly. And the more I went, the more I fell in love with everything. And then, as you know, some listeners may not know, but the very first season, Stephen was, I had nothing to do, but I happened to be, involved with the banker side of it, and a friend. And so Stephen was like, I want you to be in the VIP area now. I want you to come down the VIP area. I want you to be there this first game. So I'm like, okay, whatever. I'm thinking I gotta go to a soccer game. And so I was out of town. My husband and I were out of town for the first, friendly game that we had.
Right.
But the first official game of the season, the first league game, that Wednesday before that game on Saturday, Stephen passed away suddenly.
Yeah.
And I'll never forget the phone call from Steve Donner. He was the first to call me. I was at my home by myself, and he said, Kelly, I don't even know how to tell you this. And of course, I'm thinking he's calling about, banking or something. And he said, I don't even know how to tell you this. And he told me, he said, we lost Stephen today. And I remember, I didn't cry or anything. At first, it was like I didn't hear this. I didn't hear this. And so Steve and I talked for a moment, and eventually I did, and I hung up the phone, and I thought, hey, this can't be happening. And I don't know for sure that it was that day, but it was definitely within a day or so. I told my husband, I said, I have no idea what I'm involved in. I'm just getting to know most of these people. But Stephen was so passionate about this, and he wanted so bad for me to be involved in it. I said, there's something in me that just wants me to do anything I can to help this succeed, help this team succeed. So I went to that first game. They did a tribute to Stephen. It was very, very emotional. And it kind of helped with the VIP area. While I went back the next game, I kind of helped organize the VIP area. And before you knew it, I was running the VIP area. And so that's what I've been doing ever since, for the most part. But have some other things I've gotten involved in. But thanks to Stephen, I have found something that I just have fallen in love with. And the club and the just everything about it. I've just enjoyed. I've enjoyed volunteering and being a part of it. So.
It's something that always stood out to me, especially in the first season. Like, the first season's over, and I remember talking to Shelly Hoffman, who was with Omni Marketing Group at the time, and she was the marketing director for the team, and she and I worked together at Channel 4, and she was like, "Hey, did you hear what happened with Yago?" I'm like, "No, what happened?" And she was like, "He's just kind of stuck." And I was like, "What do you mean he's kind of stuck in Dothan?" And she's like, "Well, like, everybody's gone. Everybody went back to their college, and and he's just kind of stuck." And I was like, well, where's he staying? Like, what's he doing? How is he feeding himself? Like, what's going on? And all of these questions just kind of like vomited out of my mouth, and urgently, because I'm just trying to figure out like what we can do to help.
Yeah.
And she's like, "Well, do you know Kelli Pylant?" And I was like, I think so. She's like, "She's over the VIP area. She was Steve Durham's friend, so on and so forth." And I was like, "Okay, yes, I do know her." And she's like, "Well, she kind of adopted him."
That's a great way to put it.
And I was like, "What?" And I remember seeing you, in the VIP area, and you always had a smile on your face, and you're always so thrilled you were so happy to be there. And everybody would get, a mom hug from Kelli, and it was always like, anyway, so you're always so loving. And I was like, well, I guess I'm not surprised that, she took on Yago.
Yeah, and it was funny. We were, I started talking to Yago, and just, of course, he was one of the team, and, treated him like everybody else. And, but we would just talk a little bit here or there. And one night they were having a meet and greet at, My Pie Pizza, I think it was.
Yep.
The guys were making pizza and everything, and so I went, and Yago and I just started talking. I was talking to Edu at the same time, and Yago was telling me, that he really wanted to stay here, and all these visa issues that he was having, and all this kind of stuff. And I'm thinking, okay, I know nothing about that, but sure, I'll help you. I'll see what I can do. So, I went and his driver's license was about to expire, and he wasn't going to be able to get that renewed. So we dealt with that, and so, it was like, okay, now I got to get out of the team housing, and I don't know what to do. And I'm like, okay, we'll fix this. And it's funny, I tell everybody that, we had two girls. My husband, he needed a boy, but so then, whenever Yago was telling me about her, and he looked at me and he said, she's making me work for it. She's like, in other words, Michaela wasn't just falling all over him. She was
Right.
like, if you want to talk to me, you're going to have to show me that you want to talk to me. And I'm like, okay, I'm in love with this girl. And so met her not long after that and did. She is, I love my boy. I love Yago, and he knows I do. But Kayla was just one of the best things that's ever happened to him. They're just the cutest couple, and she, you know, she steps in and takes care of him where birth mom and adoptive mom, you know, may not be able to sometimes.
Right.
So I just love them to death. But yeah, and it was because of that relationship that I really got behind the family program. You know, I saw this need and just this guidance at the time. Yago's parents, you know, were not around here. They were over in Texas. They were in the States, but they were over in Texas.
Okay.
And so, you know, they just, it's like he just needed just somebody to kind of take an interest in and just kind of help him a little bit. And so whenever we started the family program in last season, really Dusty Guess was the first one to speak up and say something. We should do something like a host family or something. And then before the season started last year, I just kind of picked it up and kind of started running with it. And it has been more than I ever dreamed it could be. The relationships that these families are building with these young men. I mean, it's just to stand back and watch it from my perspective of just kind of, you know, guiding the program. It has been so rewarding. And
yeah, I think I was impressed as to how you were handling it in the beginning, because I remember when you called and asked me, it was, hey Rick, we're not opening this up for just anybody. And it was, you know, we need people that we can trust. And I was like, and then there's me.
Yeah.
But no, it's, you know, I was flattered. I was like, okay,
Yeah.
you know, clearly she sees that I'm a good person, that we're a good family, that we're involved. And I think it's like one of those, like, hey, you knew I was a volunteer as well. And it's like, okay, you obviously, if you're willing to volunteer and show up to all this stuff, like, you clearly love this organization, this team, what it does for the community, you know, almost as much as you do.
Yeah.
And so I felt like, because it is a recipe for disaster, it can be so bad real quick. But the way you handle it and kind of vetting these families and making sure you know them and that we can trust these families with our guys, number one. Number two, I remember, you know, Stephanie and I, we were talking about it, and I was like, what would we want? Because like, we're putting these strangers in our lives.
Absolutely.
You made it abundantly clear that, hey, they're not living with you.
Yes.
And I was like, okay, you know, I was considering, but you know.
Yeah, the first year it was kind of like you could see everybody going, okay, really, what are you asking of us?
Right, like how involved are we in, how much are we involved with these guys? But no, it was one of those things where it was like, okay, if Landon were one of these guys, what would we want? And then we go back to, you know, hey, we're born again Christians. Like, what does Jesus say to do in situations like these? And so we're like, okay, we'll go ahead and do it. You know, we'd love to be a part of these boys' lives. And as a byproduct, though, and this is something I talked to Donner when I think we were going into season 2. Yes, we're going into season 2. And I was like, you know, we've got Rip Hughes Stadium. The boys have a bus for travel. We have these great restaurants that are supplying food. They've got fantastic housing. We've got these other businesses that are, you know, generous sponsors. And, you know, it's one of those things where, from a marketing standpoint and seeing these businesses, like, they're gonna get a little bit of a return on investment. It's gonna be good PR because we do have some pretty loyal fans who are like, hey, yep, they support the Dragons. We'll go to Hot's Deli.
That's right.
We'll go to El Rincon. That look good. You know, we'll call Bob and you know, get our air conditioning done or whatever the case is. But when hold on. Oh yeah, as a byproduct of all this stuff, I remember talking to Steve about it and saying, like, how are we gonna get better as an organization?
Mm-hmm.
Because I can't really see an area of opportunity right now.
Yeah.
These guys they're going into a really, really good situation.
Oh, they are. We joke all the time about how much we spoil them.
Yeah, I mean, absolutely. I guess that's like the fine line, right?
Yeah,
like, okay, hey, we're giving it, but we can take it away.
That's right.
Because it's as I don't want to say as a warning, but just the reality of it.
Mm-hmm.
It's like, hey, we need the fans in the stands,
mm-hmm.
and we need to have a winning organization.
Mm-hmm.
If you're fat and happy
mm-hmm.
because of your host family and because of the sponsors,
mm-hmm.
man, it is going to take so much more work to have a losing season and to bounce back.
Yeah.
That bounce back, to win the fans back, to win the sponsors back. It is going to be so much more difficult, and we just can't afford that. I mean, we can't afford that to happen.
Right.
We don't want that to happen.
Yeah.
Because I think it's great for the community for everybody to just come in and root for the team.
Yes. It just gives us something to, to all get behind. I mean, just that, and again, that community collaboration and just being all together and having a good time and having something to pull for.
Yeah.
And so it does. I think it does a lot for the community. There's still so many people that I come in contact with all the time that have yet to come to a game, and they're just exactly like me. They don't know anything about soccer, and so therefore they don't think they'll have a good time.
Yeah.
And I just keep telling everybody, I still don't really know what I'm watching, but I'm enjoying the heck out of it.
Yeah. I remember talking to some players, and they're just like, a lot of our fans don't know what's going on.
Don't have a clue.
Like, they're arguing with the ref.
That's right.
Passionately. And the ref got the right call.
That's right. I'll never forget the very first year. Again, never watched it, had no idea about any of this. But I'm standing over in the VIP section up against the gate as a mama. I'm taking a liking to these boys, and I'm thinking, okay, that guy just pushed my summer son down.
I've been there.
Going ballistic.
I've been there.
I'm like, holy cow, he just pushed him down. You better not have hurt him. And the whole time, little did I know that that's part of it, that our players maybe acting a little bit.
Yeah. We don't do that. What are you talking about? We don't flop.
And so I learned quickly that, okay, oh crap, they're okay.
Yeah.
They're really okay. You know? So I had to back off to that a little bit. But
So
the mom
funny.
in me was ready to get on with somebody.
That's so funny. Yeah, it was the first season, and I was serving as PA announcer, and one of the opposing teams, they flopped. They're over exaggerating it, and I get on the mic, and I think it was a friendly. We're at least going to say it was. So I don't want to confirm. But it was fan survey. Do you really think he's hurt? And it was the loudest pop of crowd noise I have ever experienced. And clearly I knew he was faking. He was, dragging it on. And I will never forget it. My wife and my mom and my dad came up to me after the match and were like, please don't ever do that again. I was like, what are you talking about? The fans loved it.
That's right.
And like, that was the biggest pop of the night. And they were like, what if he was really hurt? I was like, I would have thought of something.
I'd come up with
like, shame on you guys. He really was hurt. Like, show some Southern hospitality, something, and it would have been funny.
Absolutely.
So anyway, but it's the host families. We, as host parents, I guess you would call us. Mm-hmm. We really do care about our boys, and we also care about the other boys. Yeah. Because they have friends, and we find out, like, okay, hey, they're my friends too. Yeah. Bring them over for dinner, whatever.
And that's something that I so enjoyed watching, because I did it very intentional whenever I assigned the guys this year compared to last year. I tried to make sure that the majority, there was a couple of instances that I didn't, but tried to make sure that each guy, if they're returning from last year, that they were with a different family than they were, the previous year.
Right.
And that was simply because I just wanted them to be able to get to know other people. But then also watched that family from last year would still invite them to dinner.
Yeah.
And so it just became, and then you've got one family and they've got 10 of the guys over, and it just became like this one big family. And it just, I'm proud of it, and I just love it. I love it so much. I love watching those relationships blossom that way. And I've had just as many of the guys to say, they were so helpful to me. I appreciate so much this program. And, and then I've had families say, due to family situations, you have no idea how much my family needed that.
Yeah.
I've had that more than once.
Yeah.
And to hear that, and to hear people say that it was really a bright spot in their life and in their family.
Yeah.
It just means the world to me.
Yeah.
The world to me.
No, we definitely experienced something like that where it was reciprocal.
Good.
I still reach out to Ezra White, who
Yes,
was our
yes.
summer son in
One of our
25.
advances, the
Yeah.
moved up.
Yeah.
We love
Yeah.
that.
Yeah.
Love to watch them.
Oh my gosh, man, I'm so proud of him.
I know.
And that also, it helps the organization, because what other USL2 team can say in the last in the last 2 seasons, we've advanced 6 players.
Yes. Yes.
Majority of those 6 players came from year 2.
Mm-hmm.
And we don't have any for year 3 yet, because we haven't gone into any draft
Right.
since the 26th season. But, I remember talking to him, and he was just like, yeah, man, just adjusting to the pro soccer life.
Mm-hmm.
And I felt, I even apologized. I was like, man, I should have reached out to you more.
Yeah.
Because you're going through these growing pains, and, I'm sorry that I wasn't there for you. I didn't even think about it. I just, I thought I was an annoyance. And he's like, no, like, you didn't have to reach out, but you're not an annoyance.
They don't think that way. They're truly grateful.
Yeah.
And I hear it from them all the time.
Yeah.
How grateful they are
Yeah.
for the families and the impact that they have on their life and their experience here in Dothan. Gosh, the list goes on and on of things that, one family took their guys to a Braves game. They went whitewater rafting.
Oh, man.
It's just numerous things.
They involved their boys, their summer sons, into their family activities.
Yes.
Lucy was in Newsies. One family had a boy in Newsies as well.
Yeah.
And I had 3 dragons sitting behind me at one of the showings for the Newsies, and I look over and I'm like, what are you? And I see the Hodges.
Yeah.
And I'm like, oh, that makes sense.
That's what you're here for.
And little Dane was just like telling all these people, because Stephanie's in the cast as well, and she overheard it, and she's like, yeah, Dane was going around saying that he's got a couple of dragons coming to watch him tonight. And I'm like, this little boy is like on cloud 9 because we have these semi-pro soccer players, but in his mind, like, these guys are pros. Like, what are you talking about? They're coming to see me. Like, he's excited and forward.
Yeah.
But no, and I've also heard too that there are some other families as well who have been so thankful to have some summer sons to take care of.
And they call me and they tell me those things. They're like, we had no idea what this was going to, be like. And we could not be happier. And, it's like we were saying, the very first year, I was calling people, I was begging, for help, because people truly did not know what I was asking of them. And I get that. And after that first year, they would tell other people. So come year 2, I had a waiting list of families that wanted to be involved. And I just, it just warmed my heart that I wasn't having to beg people, to try to do this, that people truly wanted to get involved and they wanted to be a part of that and help make the experience for these young men great. And I wouldn't even begin to, to start to try to name our families, but the families that we had, you mentioned Sandy and John Notch. Oh my goodness. I could not love that family more. And,
Yeah.
and Abby, their daughter. I mean,
Mhm.
they just, and little Kennedy, she is the best. She is the biggest Dragons fan there ever was. Love, love, love that little girl. And I was joking online with Abby the other day, like, when I grow up, I want to be Kennedy. I mean, she's just so free spirit and,
Yeah.
and just lovable. But they are truly in this, and they truly love it,
Yeah.
and they truly take care of their boys. They were also, they own Sheep Pecan Company, a little plug there. They're great, incredible place.
Yeah.
But because they had the ability to put together bags and everything, so they took on the coaches for us this year too. We didn't have families for the coaches last year, but this year, they each took a player and then also took care of
That
the
must have been
coaches.
so odd for the coaches, right? Like to have such generosity
Oh,
and to be
absolutely.
taken care of. Whereas like,
Yeah.
I thought we were just
Yeah,
coming here
they
to
were not.
coach.
Yeah, they were not used to it. And whenever Ricky, whenever I first talked to him about it, I said I really would like to have you guys involved too, if that's okay. And he said, look, my family's coming with me. He said, I don't need anything. He said, but Kelly, if you took care of those assistant coaches,
Yeah.
he said, you have no idea how grateful I would be.
Yeah.
Now, obviously, we didn't leave Ricky out. I mean, Sandy and Abby took care of him anyway. But yeah, I mean, every game, and then we had other Dusty, and other families who would step in. Dusty and Neil would bring the buckets of stuff, and she'd give them something before every game. So it went from just the players having goodie bags and good luck bags in their chairs for the game. Now the coaches are getting it.
Yeah.
And it's like, man, we really are spoiling you guys. But yeah, they were doing the meal things with the families and just included them. I mean, it's like they took care of them too.
How long is that wait list now for host families?
Well, actually, I have added this year. I have not checked because I typically don't check until the beginning of the first year around the first of the year. I'll say, okay, we're getting geared up. Who wants to come back? And last year we had a couple that for health reasons and other reasons couldn't. But so I was able to fill in already this year. I don't know who is going to continue, but I've already got about 3 or 4 that have come back. And again, I don't at all want to come across as a dictator. This is my program. I'm going to be very picky. But like you said, I look at it from that mom standpoint of if my girls were in another country and were being taken care of, I would hope somebody would look at, be very picky on who my girls were taken care of by. And it's not that we would ever want to exclude anybody. It's just these are I consider this my 30 summer sons, and I want to know that somebody's going to take care of them.
Well,
And so
you care
yes, I do.
for both parties involved, right?
Yeah.
Like the summer sons and also the families.
Yes.
But there's also a responsibility that you have that, I mean, it's pretty high. It's a pretty big responsibility to make sure that you're putting good families into this program, because there is a high potential for a whole lot of things to go wrong.
Absolutely. There really is.
And you're putting a family at risk. Ultimately, it's the family's responsibility and their decision to, you're not dictating and you're saying
Right.
you're doing this or else.
Right.
It's, hey, do you want to do it?
Yeah.
The other thing as well is you have responsibility to the players, where you're not just going to take someone that you don't know, because you have to vet them. You have a responsibility to those players and the organization that you're putting good families that are safe with
Right.
these players, and that these players are also safe
Right.
to be with these families.
Right.
And so,
And I do, I tell myself a lot of times I take it overboard, and I guess maybe I do in some cases, but it's just important to
exclude people.
Yeah.
You have to vet them.
Yeah.
I don't think that, I think we lived in a world for a little bit where it was just kind of like, oh no, we just need to accept anyone and everything.
Yeah.
And look at the mess that we're in now culturally.
Yes.
It's, no, you have to vet people.
Yeah.
You have to, one of the things that irks me so much is hearing like, oh no, judge not lest you be judged.
Yeah.
Number one, you're taking that verse out of context.
Yeah, absolutely.
Jesus also said you're going to judge them by by their fruit.
That's right.
So yes, we are called to judge.
That's right.
You know, you ask any parent, they're not going to hire a male babysitter
Sure.
for their young kids.
Sure.
Well, why are you judging?
That's right.
Why are you being sexist?
That's right.
Well, because statistically, you're putting your kids in danger if you
That's
just
right.
have some random dude that's willing to babysit. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
So, no, and I'm saying all this to like, for you to not feel bad
Well, thank you.
that you're judging someone
I appreciate
or
it.
vetting someone,
Yeah.
and it's just kind of understandable too.
Yeah.
I mean, if my son were to be somewhere else and he's in this family program, and it's like, well, do you guys vet these people?
Yeah.
Or
yeah.
is my kid gonna have to
Just
be on
go.
extra high alert?
That's right.
But you know, you mentioned the shoot pecan. I got Sean Keen
Mm-hmm.
like a package of nuts from shoot pecan, and that was at the beginning of the season. He was still talking about it at the end of the
Yeah.
season. And so I was like, I made a note and I told Stephanie, I was like, we might have to send him a Christmas gift.
That's right.
With some
That's
shoot
right.
pecans.
He may need some more pecans.
Yeah, but
Yeah.
Anyway, well, Kelly, thank you so much for coming on the
Oh,
podcast.
gosh, thank you for inviting me. This was a pleasure.
Yeah.
Two of the things I love most to talk about, my job and the dragons. So
Well, you're always
couldn't have been a better day.
you're always a pleasure to talk to.
Well, thank you.
If you need a commercial loan, or if you're someone who's in the market for looking for any type of retail loan or home loan,
Yes,
call Kelli Pylant.
come see me.